Welcome everybody to Random Talks. Today we are recording. This is our first video recording of Random Talks. I'm pretty excited about that. For a while I just didn't have the manpower, but now I finally got the help to record. And also I want to give a big shout out to WJB for letting us use their production room to record this podcast. It's going to sound a little bit more clear. And before we get started, I will be in New Orleans March 16th through the 18th. We'll also be recording the episode there. So if you want to take part, just email us, let us know how you feel. If you can join us, if you can't join us, but have some questions, just send those to us. And today we're talking about the Underclassmen woes. We got two people with me today. One hasn't been on in a while, and we have a completely new person, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Carlis Spencer. I'm a sophomore here, and my random fact would be I play the piano.
Are you good at playing the piano, or you can just play the piano?
I can play. I'm okay.
Okay. So if a church called you up, you can. Yeah,
I do. I do play for church sometimes whenever they ask.
Oh, you legit then? You legit.
Let's slide this microphone over here. Excuse that. We are with me, Clinton, and I haven't been on in a minute, but I am a senior this semester. First semester, I graduate in December. It's lit. And a random fact about me, I got the iPhone 10. So, yeah, it's lit.
Yeah, that iPhone 10 is nice, too.
I needed it for the camera.
Yeah. The only reason why I haven't gotten it yet is because the 7 Plus does a pretty good job of what I needed to do right now.
Right.
So
Holding on to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no point in upgrading. I just had a 16 gigabyte iPhone SE,
Oh, yeah.
so I was like, you know what? Let me just go get something good.
Yeah, it's time to upgrade from that. Before we get started, I know this has pretty much been a big thing in like the social media news, not necessarily news, but I know what y'all know I'm about to talk about. Black China and her sex tape. Like, what do y'all think about that?
You can go first.
All right. Here's what I think. Look, if it happens behind closed doors, let it stay behind closed doors. I feel like it shouldn't have, been leaked in the first place. I feel like she kind of did that in the security of her own home or wherever they did it without the expectation of it coming out. And I hate the fact that it comes out as revenge porn or whatever because it gives her a really bad rep because, she's trying to move on from that stripper, stage onto, like, the entrepreneurship. And I hate when people slut shame. I hate it with everything in my body. So you have to uplift women. You have to make them have a positive outlook. Because if you don't promote them, nobody else will. So I think, she's just trying to move on. So it's unfortunate, but yeah.
I don't even know where to begin, really, just off the simple fact that it's celebrities' lives, and I don't really care about celebrities' lives, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can do whatever they do. And it seems that when a video like this comes out for celebrities, it's like, oh my God, did you see this, that, and the third? The judgment is coming from people who do the same thing. It just hasn't been put out yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all that passing judgment and this, that, and the third of, oh, she's this or, oh, she's that, or, whatever speculation you have about how it came out, look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, feel kind of bad that it came out, just like she said, that it's coming after she's trying to move forward. And then I'm seeing, kind of some of the things that she's doing, like how she's hustling, and everything on her Snapchat or Instagram is like, swipe up, go get these headphones, or go get this tea, or go get this lifting trainer or something like that. So she's focused, and if she continues to do that, in about 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half from now, nobody's even going to remember that she had a tape out.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I say that. I think you're right about that because we do tend to kind of move on from stuff pretty quickly now, which is really outrageous. But the thing that I like that she's doing about it, first off, let me start by saying this. If I was that guy with the situation that he was in, I wouldn't have shared it. I just wouldn't have shared it, period. Because, like, everybody's focusing on Black China, but I was like, man, anybody who's seen the video too know what I mean.
Right.
I say the situation, I was like, nah, there's no way. I just would have been like, yeah, I had sex with Black China. That would have been it.
Yeah.
You would have never seen that video.
Yeah.
Because I would have been embarrassed just on my own.
You was in that situation.
Yeah.
But then you can say, too, that it's Black China. So, you air quotes won, in a sense, you know what I'm saying, of being in that position over other guys.
You may have won in that situation, in a sense, but, like, think about from everybody else.
Yeah.
When everybody else finds out that that's you in that video, that's it. Like, you're not getting anybody else. And they going to laugh you. They going to laugh you to death.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I know, because has his identity come out yet? I don't know.
His identity hasn't came out. They're actually getting the police to pursue this as a revenge porn case.
She's got lawyers and stuff.
Yeah, I like that Black China has been doing she hasn't been doing the Kardashian approach to it.
Yeah.
Which I think she's under the Kardashian Jenner curse anyway. You know,
I do like it. I like how she's handling it like administratively. She's not like letting it be an issue that keeps going on. She's like, I'm going to my lawyers. I'm going to get my coin from this. She's trying to move on and like put a positive spin on it. So that's what I do like. It's just like I said, unfortunate that it happened to begin with. So
yeah. Well, hopefully it's going to turn out for the better because this is the second time. Like, you said what?
I said tell the people to let us know what they think.
Oh yeah, let us know what you think about it because it's a pretty interesting situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because she's a celebrity, but also there are a lot of other women who go through this who can't necessarily get the same backing that she gets because she's a little bit more famous. But I like that both times when Rob Kardashian did what he did. And then with this new guy, whoever he is, I feel sorry for him because he's going to get buried. Yeah. Like, there's no way he's going to win that. He's getting jail time. Rob could pay to not get in jail time. Yeah. But this dude is going to jail unless he's somebody secretly rich. But
I doubt it.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my goodness, couldn't be me.
Nah.
But before we move on to the questions, the Kardashian family in general, I just noticed that they handle stuff completely different.
Yeah.
Like if this was Kim, I think Kris Jenner would have, instead of going to the police and suing and stuff like that, I think all of them would have just been like, oh, well, here's a fashion line I got coming out.
I'm weak.
They usually use a lot of those things to promote, in a sense, promote, like, you know what I'm saying, from that. You can put it in the mindset of just pivoting in a sense that, you know, okay, this negative ad or negative energy came out against us. We're going to use that and turn it into some, you know, the attention is all that reality stars or celebrities need in a sense to either swing something negatively or swing something positively. And if we look at just attention and not the judgment, like you have 100,000 eyes that saw that, right?
Yeah.
Those same 100,000 eyes, then, okay, they go to your social media to see if you're talking about it. If they go to your social media and then they see, oh, wait, she just put up this fashion line? What's this? You know what I'm saying? Then that's like, oh, well, let me click on it. Oh, I like this piece, you know what I'm saying? And it can kind of generate something from them. But of course, you'll have the people like, oh, you know, oh my God, she dropped the fashion line. Oh, look at this, troll, you know what I'm saying? But that's the internet.
I like how they handle it too. I like how they just kind of take a grip on it. That's one thing I do like about the Kardashians is that that they do handle it, like they switch it around to something positive. Because a lot of people, that could have shut them up like for good or stuff like that. But that's just kind of like, I hate to say it, but like their brand of like what they use to make their money. So I feel like if that's what your brand is, every time that happens, you have to take advantage of those opportunities because if it happens, it just happens. But if it makes money, you know, get your coin, sis.
Oh, when you saying that reminded me of Her Bay, the reunion. You gotta watch that video too. That video is hilarious.
You saw the Her Bay reunion?
Yes, and I think it's so dumb. She's wasting all her time. Just leave that boy alone.
I think she was done with the boy. I think she was trying to get back on to not paint him as a villain because like the first time he was painted as a villain, and then he got on there. He was like, "You painted me as a villain." And you didn't really have the context and stuff like this and that. I was like, bro, you did that to yourself. You didn't explain yourself. When you could have easily said,
yeah,
hey,
I just think he's doing it for publicity. Because to be honest with you, he's extremely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So nobody's talking about him. Everybody's talking about how she glowed up, how she's with somebody else in a healthy relationship, I guess, and how she's getting all the followers and everything. If anything, he's getting a lot of negativity thrown his way. Yeah. So I think the only reason why he really did it was maybe like to clear his name or something. But other than that, like nobody really cares, to be honest. Like that's just like a relationship they put under the light themselves. So
my dude said he is out here glowing and exfoliating and drinking his water. Had the water on set. He, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he then went back on there to make a fool of himself again, just to seem cool, like he's like, you know, of course. In the sense there was no context provided to the video, so any part of their conversation we're gonna come at it just from that, and then whatever bad comes out, it's like, oh damn, how could you do this to such a great person, you know? But this video was like a clear flip, you know what I'm saying, 180 degrees to where it's like, okay, we know why we're on here now. I don't think they expected to get as big as they did off that video, but this video, they're like, okay, you're Hurt Bay, you know what I'm saying, Hurt Bay or whatever, and we're on here now. He just completely acted out. Like, he was just like, you know what I'm saying, there's no point. Or, you know, he went to just like these completely combative, standoffish answers to hurt her, you know, and it was like, bruh, come on now. Y'all aren't together, so there's no point in being petty of trying to get a one-up on she's now just a regular girl to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why you need to say outrageously hurtful things just to get back into it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, all the negative energy, and you painted me like a bad person, and then you go on to say something even crazier than you said in the other video, and now what do you expect? People are like, bravo, bro, you got back on there, and you really stuck it to her. Yeah. He
probably could have been. He probably could have had the opportunity to really show her for who she was. She might be an evil person on the inside, but now we'll never know because of what he did.
He and himself as the villain for that.
Yeah. Because I feel here's a way that this could have went even. You know what I'm saying? To the where he could have got his side of the story out. She could have got her side of the story out. Because he went on to say, he was like, well, yeah, I was in a relationship when we did the video. It's like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of pride or power do you get from that? And then I feel, though, that if they would have sat down, asked, you know, okay, understand why, or, you know, why you did what you did, why she did what she did, come to a adult, you know, agreement, like, okay, that was wrong. We could have worked it out, but it's a year and a half later or so. So I mean, if they haven't worked it out, then who knows what they'll do. But if there was common ground to be found, like you said, but the standoffish attitudes that came into it,
that just
didn't help it. But they got 1 million views on their video, so there's money coming their way anyway, and we're sitting here talking about it.
I feel like he cried on the way home.
Yeah, no, they both cried. They both cried on the way out of there. They both cried.
Moving on to the first random question. Just like to talk about the difference between our freshman years. Like my freshman year was in 2008. Don't judge me, I'm kind of old.
No, we love you on the hill.
Clinton, your freshman year was
2014. 2014.
And yours was 2017. Yeah. Wait, 16? Yeah, 16, 17. So we're going to start with the youngest member first.
Wow. All right. Okay, my freshman experience, like as a whole, just...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to start off, I didn't live on campus my freshman year, so I felt like I was missing out on like a little bit of something, because everyone wanted to have that experience of, okay, I'm being grown, I'm moving off to college, I'm going to be independent, I'm going to solve my own problems for myself. But for me, it's like I'm just moving 10 minutes down the street. And I felt like, I wasn't like as... I guess advanced as everyone else, because everyone's like moving in on campus, they're making friends, they're making food runs late at night, they're going to parties, having a blast, and I'm at home like studying, and I come up here like for class and I go home, maybe come up here for 1-2 homecoming events, that's it. So I felt like I was kind of missing out on that aspect, but at the same time, it was good for me to stay at home because I got to focus on my grades and establish that, and I wasn't really involved in a lot of organizations on campus besides the honors program because I wanted to focus on my grades and make sure my grades were together before I really got deep into other like extracurricular activities. So I was able to keep my 4.0 GPA while I was at home and not be too heavily involved, because I think that was a problem for a lot of my friends who went here on campus. They got to college and they said, I'm going to be a part of this, and this, and then your grades start tanking, and you know your freshman year is like very fundamental as far as grades are concerned. You start your freshman year, you want to start off high, so you can afford to make, a C, every now and again. But when you start off already behind, it's hard for you to build that back up. So I see the wisdom in it, but at the same time I was upset because I felt like I was missing out. So that's what my freshman year was like.
Freshman year 2017 on the hill, that's crazy. Just looking back, seeing, from 2014, I heard that our class coming in was like one of the larger classes. Like they increasingly got bigger as the years went on. It's causing all types of housing crises. But we'll talk about that soon. But 2014. First, if you haven't seen the videos that are on my YouTube channel, I did a big recap of my freshman year experience, talking about the dorms and relationships and dating and if you should party or not. So you can check that out. But
I remember
quick
that.
recap. Yeah, those videos went crazy for no apparent reason. Like 17K views, 18K views. So thank you all for the support. I didn't know I had that big of a, just my
Yeah, you blew up
experiences.
instantly. It was like the second you got here, you were the
The-
you were the biggest blogger. I was going to say the only blogger, but there were a few
Yeah,
others, but it was like
yeah.
nobody killing it like you were.
I appreciate that. But I think some of the memorable moments from freshman year, contrary to staying home, would be going out. I remember a lot of events on the quad, a lot of events at Clyde Foster, one of my most watched YouTube videos on my channel at like 500K
the VBB?
views at the VBB Stroll Off. Shout out to VBB for hosting that event. That video, all the videos from that event went crazy. And really, it started because when I came down here freshman year, I was really observatory, if that's my word that I want to choose. Observative? Observatory?
Observant, yeah.
Observant. There we go. I was that, and I was watching a lot of people. So I was like, I would go to events and watch, and sometimes I would leave the events and be like, dang, that was fun. Like, I wish I had something to look back on that on. So then I was like, well, I can document that on a camera. Picked up a camera. I had a Nikon D3200. Was walking around with my monopod and things like that.
Oh yeah, you showed.
There was really nobody recording at the events, except for one or two people. Shout out to Cece and Caesar, and then shout out to Marquia. They was always around, moving, getting everything, all the footage and events and things like that. So I was like, let me just go up there with them, and just got in there where I fit in, and it turned out to be good because I have so much footage to look back on and it just remember and feel excited about again, homecomings and things like that. And then also it helps other people. So my freshman year is pretty interesting, and it's just where I'm at now started, defined me back in 2014. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was 2008 like, Eric? Yeah.
Oh,
how was that on campus?
Oh man, that was a wonderful moment, man. I remember that was my first time. My first time being able to legally vote. I had just registered a little bit before I came up to campus, and then I came up here, and then voting day, the lines were ridiculous. Like y'all were only here for Trump, and Trump was.
But see, Trump, that wasn't even. Yeah.
Nobody was really trying to vote when Trump was there, but like 2008, it was crazy because it was like the lines were all the way out past the door.
Did y'all vote at Elmore?
Yeah, we voted at Elmore. So it was like it's already like a high school gym basically. Yeah. The lines are out to like the parking lot almost. They were moving pretty fast. We didn't have the voter ID laws and stuff like that. But I remember when he won. I remember sitting in my dorm room, and I was like, "Is he gonna win?" Like, it was a surreal moment. Yeah. And so then, I'm glad y'all brought it up because I forgot all about that.
I bet you did.
If I was recording like I am now back then, I would have definitely recorded. It would have been great footage. I wasn't thinking at the time, but when he won, I remember we were looking at the TV screen like, "Is this real?" And so everybody had a party on the quad, and this is probably showing the ignorant part of it. But during the party on the quad,
ain't it?
No, this is
November.
This is November.
My bad.
It wasn't that cold for some reason though.
Yeah, I was thinking like.
Yeah, but I remember a party on the quad. I think it was two dudes from Mobile were finna fight. And they was like, no, chill. Obama just got elected. And so they waited until the next day to fight in the lunchroom. And I think it was in Foster, matter of fact. But my freshman year, I forgot all about that.
So that was like coming into fall freshman year, like your first time on the Hill.
That was my first time on the Hill.
That's great.
Came up here and voted. My freshman year, I was a little bit of a lame, kind of. I didn't do a whole lot of going out of stuff, but when I finally did, I started enjoying it. And then I started traveling with the basketball team. And that was probably one of my biggest things because I was always out of class. Yeah. I was traveling with the basketball team. I was getting treated as if I was one of them. So, like, the girls would come up to me and stuff. I'm like, "Oh, why you ain't play today?" I just be like, I'm injured. No one get away. All I'm doing is recording.
I'm injured.
Hey, shit, you could definitely red shirt. I'm weak. So, were you doing filming or Were you doing filming or?
Yeah, I was filming for the team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's lit. I am doing the press conferences now with the coaches, Coach Richards and Coach Marsh. Usually after the games, they come in and do like a little press conference interview. And actually tomorrow, It's gonna be my first color commentary. Yeah.
Oh yeah, doing the game.
Yeah,
what
on
game
the
is
live
it?
stream. The women, they play some team. I haven't done my research, but tomorrow.
You'll know by tomorrow.
Yeah, I will know and listen to the live stream, and you'll hear me.
I wish they. Who does the live stream?
Mr.
I'm not trying
Morris.
to. Okay.
I
I'm
think.
not trying to take a stab at the school, but
Air it out. Let's air it out.
when I watched it for the state game,
Yes.
I eventually ended up having to go to the state game because I had to shoot it for WAFF.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it while I was at the station, we were shooting in like 4:3. The quality was like
Bruh,
144.
like-
I was like, wait a minute, what's going on with that?
I mean, that's what we're doing right now, but
Yeah.
we're still grateful, trusting the process that all of our equipment shall be updated and up to par.
I mean, we're using CDs in here,
I'm
but at
scared.
the end of the day, the quality does sound better than my little mic.
Mm-hmm.
But
What
that
it
little
could
mic
be.
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, what it could be instead of these steps and procedures we must go through. But yeah, I'm appreciative of these opportunities and resources because sometimes people don't have those things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just to take advantage of them and our talent and quality that we bring to this recording, it doesn't matter what equipment we have. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
what the content we're talking about, and if we can at least help one person, be inspired.
Yeah, because I like when I was traveling with the team, the basketball team had their own camera equipment, but for the most part, we didn't have equipment for real. Like you couldn't come into this room and actually record and stuff. It wasn't set up for us. So I know that like they're still trying to upgrade, and it's a lot of red tape and it's a political process, and I get
Yeah.
that. But I am thankful that we can finally come up into places like this and record and be
So
straight.
have you seen in the 10 years you've seen like
I've seen a
a
huge
great increase?
I've seen a huge growth. When I got here, just speaking in our department, all of us are communication students, by the way.
Yeah.
When I got here, there was only one person doing anything. We had like 4 or 5 teachers, and Mr. Thompson, rest in peace,
R.I.P.
was a great guy. He was healthy back then,
Yeah.
so he could actually participate.
They move around.
Yeah, and do videos with folks. But there was one guy who was doing a soap opera. He's living in D.C. right now. His name is Wiseman Lewis.
Okay.
I don't know if
Wait,
that's still
literally
his name
like
on
doing
Facebook.
soap operas on campus?
Yeah, they were doing a soap opera on campus. Campus. If you can, I mean, it's bad.
Oh,
But when it's just starting out, of course, it's gonna be bad.
yeah.
I think it's still on YouTube. It's called Ebony Fire.
Ebony Fire.
Yeah, and I remember helping out on that.
Right.
And that was the only thing going on. And then I left, went to Orlando for a little bit, came back 2-3 years later to finish up school. And then you had Jules doing his thing. Who else did you have? You had Campus Highlights. They were doing like news and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
You had Zoe B. She has her own show now. It's a little X-rated. It's called Zoe B After Dark. If you ever want to check that out.
Seems like Hampton took the Ebony Fire name for their dance team.
They might have.
But yeah, I'm still looking.
They might have stole that name from them.
Yeah.
Copyright next time.
It
Hampton,
might be
what
on
y'all been
Facebook. I don't know how to find it.
It's all good. One day it'll pop up.
Yeah, but it
It
was
needs
pretty
to
bad.
What's our random talk for the day? Or
Oh, that was the first random question.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
the freshman
we
year.
already started.
I meant the other one. The next one. Did we
Oh,
come
the next
up-
question.
Yeah.
Oh, the next question. Were you thirsty your freshman year, or were people thirsty after you?
That's funny. I guess it starts with me.
I guess.
Okay, here's the thing. I was not thirsty my freshman year because I came to college with the expectation of I'm just here for school. I didn't come expecting to find a husband or a boyfriend or somebody that I was going to be interested in. But as God worked it out, I did. I found a boyfriend. And there were a lot of people who were seeking after me, but I knew they weren't anything.
You wasn't talking about nothing.
Yeah, they weren't, and I knew they weren't because when I asked you what your goals are, like I take it serious. I'm not dating for fun. Like I'm trying to find a husband out here. So yeah, I wasn't thirsty after a lot of people because I just wasn't giving them the time of day. I didn't think I was unapproachable, but I may have an unapproachable face. I don't know, maybe a little hard in the face. But I was still nice to people, but I just never sought out any boys or anything like that because I was focused. Like I just for school and that's it, and back home because I didn't live up here yet. But yeah. So I guess that's it.
So you live up here now?
I do. It's great living on campus.
Great is an overstatement.
Well, okay.
It's an extreme overstatement.
Well, to me, it's better than staying at home because I'm very active on campus. And we have stuff like we have meetings, so-and-so. It can be random. We just have to go up to the student center or go to the president's office or wherever and have our meetings. And I can't keep, going 10, 15 minutes back and forth. That's a lot of gas. Just to commute and just to be so active on campus and stuff happens every day. It's way more convenient to live here. So
I will say that, like, living on campus, if I could go back and do it, I probably wouldn't have left or go to Orlando until my senior year after I graduated.
Yeah.
But I also would not have. I would have never moved off campus. I would have stayed on campus. Because, man, that gas is no joke.
It's real. It is very real. It's very real. And if you do not have a job or any form of income, you don't need to be trying to live off campus.
And it's a lot of people that do that. They be like, well, the dorms are too messed up for me to stay here. So I'm going to move off campus. Then it's like, all right, so how you going to get to class every day?
That's
how you going to eat every day? Because that calf food may be nasty, but it's food.
It's paid for. Look, it is a down payment. You don't have to be hungry all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, talking about living off campus, I had moved off campus my sophomore year. So, like, freshman year, answered this question. No, I wasn't thirsty. But sophomore year, living in off campus, the commute, just like y'all talk about, is like, it sometimes doesn't seem to add up. Like, it's like, okay, I'm about to drive to campus. Oh, shoot, I left something at the crib. About to go back to the crib, come back. Okay, bet. Oh, damn, I got to go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sometimes, though, eliminates a lot of trips that you may have to take. It's like, left it at the crib. Oh, well, can't go get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I just don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to make sure you have everything together. But going back to freshman year, again, just back to the point, that's the whole reason why I picked up the camera, just because I was just on my own, kind of just recording, looking around. Of course, you converse with people, meet new people, always trying to make new friends. But I was just focused on being at the events, trying to capture all the energy in the moments. And people would talk to me because of that. They would see me like, oh yeah, hey, I see you, doing all the camera stuff, or who are you recording with, or what is that for? Where do you put it? Can I be in your shot? Can you take my picture? Like, all you know what I'm saying? Like, all those factors of conversation came from me having the camera. So it really brought it was a conversation starter. Which was then why, like, sophomore year, I kind of had to be a little more vocal after I went through my process and things like that, and came out on the other side a new man. Just got a little more vocal, and it then began also through that period of time, freshman year, going through the summer after I did those videos. It became a finding yourself, because like, a lot of times people come from high school to college thinking they know themselves to, like, that point of, like, I'm my name. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I'm Clinton, and can't nobody tell me that I'm not. Then when you get down to school and you see it's a whole different type of environment, and people really don't care what your name is from the next person. It then leads people that come down with that bravado of, like, I'm me. Then they be like, when the first time they hear, I don't care, then they're like, oh,
it hurts. It hurts.
Well, dang. Well, then, you know what I'm saying? Well, then who am I? So a lot of that, finding myself and understanding what was going on and trying to just embrace in the atmosphere took away from me being thirsty. What about you, Eric?
I was thirsty. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was super thirsty. I mean, because, like, coming from high school, I only had, like, two girlfriends coming from high school.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time. I'm not a cheater.
Gotta clarify.
Yeah, but I only had two girlfriends. One was, like, super popular, and I wasn't really that popular. The other one was she was cool, but I mean, she wasn't even from the same city. She was like a city over. But coming to A&M, I was like, I'm finna talk to as many girls as I can, blah blah this and that. Got shot down left and right. There were a few girls who did talk to me, and a couple of them I still talk to this day from, like, my freshman year. But for the most part, I was thirsty. Like, I was one of those guys that wouldn't talk about nothing.
College is dangerous, though, in a sense, at that, young age, coming in, trying to talk to a lot of people. Because you don't know how, at A&M, and it may be for a lot of HBCUs that are small or close-knit, like, everybody knows somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that 6 degrees of separation rule, like, really applies here. You know what I'm saying? And then just to that point, just trying to just get to know who you know, like, just networking with people, in a sense. You meet somebody through another person, you're like, oh wait, you know them. Like, that connection is crazy. But yeah, I'm interested to know, like, what was dating life how has dating in college changed since your freshman year to now?
Well, I'm older, so I try not to be on campus.
Well, yeah, but what, like things you may see, you know, on social media or just college life in general.
Well, my freshman year was really kind of the boom of social media. Like MySpace was popping.
So what was hot in 2008? Like
MySpace was popping. Facebook was really jumping
crazy.
because Facebook, you had to get an invitation to get into Facebook.
Right.
So like.
Right.
Yeah, and I had just got my invitation.
Didn't even know about that, did it?
For real? Yeah. People forget about
yes.
that. Like, I was talking about this with my homeboy not too long ago, but, like, you had to get an invitation. And I got an invitation from a girl that I met in Birmingham doing this networking event before I went to college. And then I got here, and I was like, oh, man, so many people are on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so, like, Facebook, social media back then was way better.
For
but
real?
Also... Yeah.
As in, like, not diluted with like everything, or
not diluted with anything because there was no ads for real.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole political conversations and stuff, they were happening, but it wasn't like that was the main focus.
Exactly.
It was mostly
social media.
Yeah. It was mostly on like some, hey, I'm talking about this right now, and then folks would join in and it'd be like jokes and stuff. It was cool, and then MySpace was kind of jumping still too, so like you still go over here and customize. It was slowly starting to die out, but it was still like you could show.
What
who
song
you
did you have on your homepage?
Oh man, I think I had Lupe Fiasco at one point.
Shout out to
I had
Lupe.
Common.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a different guy back then.
Right. Keep going.
Man, but like it was. I mean, you still ran the risk of people putting you out. Because I forgot Twitter was around then too.
Yeah,
Twitter
had to be way different too, wasn't it?
Man, Twitter was really jumping in because it was you saw everybody in the order that they posted.
Bring back chronological order on all social media. Like
Platforms,
what?
Yeah, because I missed that. But it was Twitter on there, and then it was all chronological. And this was the first time that you could actually sit down and talk to celebrities.
Yeah.
I remember I had a conversation with Robin Thede. She's now the host of The Rundown. But I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But dating, people would still call you out back then, but it wasn't as often as it is now because video cameras still were not that big.
Yeah.
But now, everybody does stuff to go viral. And so that hurts you. And then everybody want to show everybody that you're in a relationship on Instagram, Twitter, and you got to have the cute pictures and all of that.
Just do it.
Just be in a relationship.
That is interesting. You talked about trying to go viral, and I see that now. Like every post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram that either has food, some type of clothes, or some type of fight says like, "Make this go viral."
Yeah.
Like, when has that ever been the way to go viral? If you know it, like virality, the best virality happens, just by happenstance. You know what I'm saying? You see a video, you share it, then you're like, oh wait, somebody else shared it. And you keep seeing that snowball effect now. But the whole idea now since I've seen it in the past couple years, at least since like
15, 16.
Yeah, that everything that like. You started seeing a lot of the food posts coming up, and everybody was starting to be a chef on Facebook and putting shout out the baby in the bag, putting their parsley flakes on all the food, and then it's like it's like gourmet shrimp and Italian sausage casserole with parsley flakes. Make this go viral, and it's like no, yeah, and it's nothing. Just what are we making go viral? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It just. The idea that you'll then become somebody, just by getting 100,000 shares on Facebook, isn't the idea that we're trying to go after, because it's still about who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? It's still about, can you really cook anything else? Like, can you just make one, or can you make a multitude of dishes? Because what if you do go viral? And somebody hits you up and say, hey, I'm looking for an eggplant casserole with truffle butter and cheese. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, what is truffle butter? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just went viral and made yourself look stupid.
Yeah.
It happens, though.
Could you talk to us a little bit about, you're coming up with a lot of younger age people through, I think you came up next to social media, in a sense, like you all integrated with social media as it came out. I kind of came up with it.
Y'all perfected
almost
it.
in it. Yeah. You all are coming up in it. in a sense that
yeah,
like
100%.
everything happens through social media. Why? Where did it change to where everybody else has to do something and y'all just sit back and record? Like nobody gets out to do anything.
Well, first of all, I feel like now there's a lot of, like, on social media, you'll see a lot of people just promoting this. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so sad. This is awful. And people just like laugh, ha ha ha. I'm so depressed. That's the problem. Like, and I feel like now, well, I will say like maybe 5th or 6th grade for me, which was who knows how back. But back then, I feel like everything was happening like, oh, I have to record this because I don't know when I ever need this again. Like, I got to take pictures with this person, because when it's their birthday, I want to make sure I have all these posts. And now you have like 1,000 pictures that you'll probably never use again. Or you have a lot of times people say I have to be in a relationship, or we have to get this picture together just to show that we're in a relationship. Yeah. For me, I feel like being in a relationship should just kind of happen naturally. And I feel like the more you force it, the more awkward it's going to be. And for us, growing up with social media, like we were actually in it. Everything is publicized. There was really nothing that was private anymore. And I felt like a lot of times I wasn't, am I really like a girl if I'm not having this many posts? Have I posted this? Haven't posted that? You go through this phase of like, everyone else is just doing with their life. What am I doing with mine? Yeah. And that causes you to compare yourself. And I believe that comparison is like the thief of all joy, period. Because a lot of times you see other people's posts like, oh, she got an internship here. Oh, she's working here. She's doing this, that, and the third. And what am I doing? I'm just here being a bum, just in college or whatever. I mean, of course, I don't want to say that about myself. But you do. Yeah, you definitely compare yourself and you feel like you're not doing what like the worldly standard of being, in college. Like by this age, you need to have a car. You need to have this, that, and the third. You need to have a house established. By like 35, you better have a family. You better be deep in your career. And I feel like a lot of times you grow up comparing yourself. Yeah, you compare because you feel like you're not at that level yet. So like you're driving, like you're you're grinding. I see that a lot. But for what? What is your goal? Where are you going to? What do you aspire to be? And I feel like if you ask that question to a lot of people, they don't know. Because I feel like a lot of people I know just, they just peaked. They just peaked in high school. I feel like they were involved with everything, which is great, but that was like their max. Now I know a couple of people who I grew up with, they're like pregnant or they're not doing anything. And I don't have a problem with you not going to college. If you're going to go to the Army, if you're going to work, if you're going to do something, but you need to have a plan. Yeah. And a lot of times people graduated high school thinking that's it. Okay, I'm going to graduate and that's what I'm done for. That is not at all what, if you let that be your end, it can be your end. But I feel like planning is what comes in to play there. And they weren't focused on that. They're focused on, oh, I'm just trying to graduate. They said that all the time. Yes, we're all trying to graduate, but we're trying to graduate and go to what? Where are you graduating to? There was never a very clear standard of what I'm going to after this. And I felt like you just kind of grew up a little bit lost because you didn't have a sense of self because you were too busy comparing yourself or you didn't know like what you were doing it for, just to get likes or whatever. I was never popular. I have no problem saying that at all. I only got popular like towards the end of high school, like senior year, second semester.
That's usually how it goes.
People started voting for me for like homecoming queen, or we want you to go speak for us here or that. And I was like, why me? Y'all ignored me for 11 and a half years of my school life, and now they want you to be a part of it. So it's just like having a focus. If you have a goal and you say I'm going to go to college, okay, so what am I going to do with my degree here? Don't ever get complacent, because if you get complacent, you're just going to be comfortable being where you are, and you don't have that much to give to other people. So just growing up with that makes you comfortable in doing nothing because you see other people doing nothing. So
yeah, and I think social media. I think back when social media first started, it was a little bit of it then. But our biggest worry was not necessarily comparing myself to, oh, this person is doing this, and that. I need to catch up. Our biggest worry was, who's your top 8? Yeah, like
like, wait, bro, why am I not up?
Yeah.
Are we not cool? Like, is that?
Yeah, and I remember when MySpace expanded it to top 32, I was like, they only expanded it for people who always have somebody saying, why am I not on your top 8?
Right.
But that was our biggest concern, like when you have to compare. Now it's all right, so this meme came out a couple of years back, and I completely disagree with it just because of the fact that it places an unrealistic standard. But now it's the whole work in your 20s, build in your 30s, retire in your 40s.
Yeah.
The majority of us are not even going to retire.
Disagree. And that's what causes people to feel stressed out when they don't achieve that standard. That's completely unattainable to begin with.
Yeah.
I believe you should always be a thinking person for yourself. Don't be brainwashed. Don't do what everybody else says is like the wave or whatever. Because quite frankly, I don't really care what it is. Because what my calling that God has for my life is just my calling. And I'm going to fall into it wherever it's supposed to be. So wherever I'm at now, it has to work. And it has to be where I need to be to get, to where I'm going. And if I'm still working in my 60s, and that's just what he's called me to do.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you should be working. That's completely unrealistic, and I'm pretty sure whoever came up with that is still working, and they may still be in their 40s.
They probably are.
So don't even believe that.
I think what it is that they're thinking about, like, Mark Zuckerberg. I forgot the guy who created MySpace, but I think they're thinking about these. I guess.
His first friend.
Yeah.
Tom from MySpace.
I don't know his last name, though, but, like.
Tom. His last name was from MySpace.
I'm weak.
But everybody thinks that, I guess because of guys like that, people who are under 40, who are multimillionaires, like the Kardashians, some of the rappers and stuff, they don't understand that their work ethic, well, not necessarily Kardashians, but the work ethic of, like, Big Sean, Jay-Z, and all of them, most celebrities, even YouTube celebrities, some of them, like DC Young Fly, they worked. Like, they really did work. It wasn't a moment where they were not working. You think that what they show you is just, I do this and then I get to go party for the rest of my life. But if you're trying to be an actor, you really don't have time to party until it is like a rap party or they need you to. Even when they're out doing interviews and stuff, that's still work for them. And they'll tell you, I think Michael B. Jordan was on Desus and Mero, and he was talking about it, and he was like, like, it's fun for the moment, but when you start getting into that press tour and you get them same 30 questions over and over, you're like, all right, I just can't wait for this to end so I can go home and go to sleep. And now,
Oh, well, off the fact of just the grinding aspect of it, like when talking to communications majors coming in saying, oh, yeah, I want to be on screen, or I want to be this, that, and the third, having no idea, like you were saying, going into the grind for that. Keep going, though. I just had to say that.
No, it's cool. Yeah, because that's really where you see the biggest problem. Like, I saw so many people come through the program and graduate with nothing because they think that what's going to happen is that somebody's going to magically throw them a job. Somebody's going to magically be like, hey, you want to be on this? It's going to blow up instantly. And now next thing you know, I'm going to be the next Wendy Williams, the next Breakfast Club. And it takes time. Like, even just with podcasts, a lot of people think that doing a podcast, you can blow up almost overnight. I've been doing this for almost a year now, and I still haven't broke. I think I broke 1,000 overall. But, like, I'm still not breaking over 40, 50 per view.
Right.
Hopefully one day I get to that point. It is improving, but it's not like it's an immediate thing.
I want to say, too, just talking about the social media conversation, you all's perspective, that's crazy how different it was, you know what I'm saying? Just the fact that first it was like, why aren't we cool? Like, social media is the thing. Like, then it's like, if you're not living by this, like, what are you doing? And where we're at, my group came in is, like, you talked about anxiety and mental health. I think our generation or users of social media that came through by the time we got to college at 2014 almost created that for y'all in a sense that, we got in here and now we're, posting what we're doing, some of the accomplishments that we're getting, but didn't explain to the younger folks watching it that, it took, a process of, having to grind, and the people that you see that have credit scores of 820 at 21 had somebody else to help them. You know what I'm saying?
They had to have somebody else to help them.
No way, shape, or form that you started and you're 22 years old with a 4-bedroom house in a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just throw that all out the window. But back to the comparisons and things like that, a lot of times I forget where I heard this quote at, but I'm just going to say that it's mine and that everybody, social media is everybody's highlight reel. You know what I'm saying? You said when you were saying, like, you were seeing somebody got an internship there or having something to do over here, like, we sit back and we're in the bed chilling looking at them, but they're, you know what I'm saying, it's their, okay, hey, I just got this internship, let me post that, bang, get 100 likes or whatever. But they're still, maybe comparing themselves to somebody trying to get to that. Like, it's always that cycle. That's why I feel we all have it. anxiety about where we're at right now, because a lot of times you hear people saying, "Oh, I'm just lost. I don't know what I'm doing," but we're still young AF. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in the sense that if we don't have, like, a lot of people aren't comfortable saying, "I don't know." Ask me what I'm doing in 5 years, Eric.
What are you gonna do in 5 years?
I don't know.
And that's an okay
You know what I'm saying?
answer to have.
But it makes people who feel that you need to be doing something uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes them feel like, what do you mean you don't know? Like,
like you got to know something.
I don't know. You know, like, tomorrow I could be on the front page of whatever magazine for podcasting. I don't know. It logically, no, that will not happen. But if a episode breaks and everything goes exploding, that's what I'm doing. Would I have been able to predict that? No. So me sitting here saying, oh, well, you know, I just plan to be at VH1 doing some type of radio or some type of podcast is pretty just, you can, of course, have a goal to put your mind to. Of course, you set something up to say, okay, it sounds good. But really, in a sense, if you take away everybody's expectations of you, take away your mom's expectations of you, take away your dad's expectations of you, take away all the ideas that you may have a job, you know, that you're supposed to have this stable career in the future, I don't think that it gets to a point where you say, okay, I'm comfortable in my life right now. Yeah. I will reach that point, like just as you said, when God realizes that it is time for me to reach that point. But we all need to just slow down, take a deep breath, and go with the Philly saying, trust the process.
Yeah,
trust the process.
Joel and B.
Yes, I agree, because I feel like a lot of times people. Oh, my bad. They confuse. They confuse.
Oh, you can put it back up there.
They confuse being complacent and being content. There's a huge difference in that, because I'll be content with any step of life that I'm at. I'll be okay with where I am now, doing what I need to be doing now, but I'll never get comfortable. You know, and like this other guy said last night, you should be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you shouldn't be okay with staying where you are, because I don't intend to be here for like another 20-25 years unless that's just where I'm supposed to be at. But I feel like if you don't have a good focus, or if you don't at least have like some type of vision or goal, I'm not saying you know what you're going to do like every step of the way, but you should say, I'm going to graduate. That's going to happen for me. I'm not trying to spend more money here. They've gotten enough of my money at Alabama A&M University.
Definitely.
But just having those little steps, you can say, oh, I wake up in the morning and look at my vision board, or I wake up and do my devotion, or I wake up and do something that gets you going. Because if you don't even have your motivation, what are you living for?
Yeah.
You need to be sure of what your purpose is. And if you're not sure, you kind of fall for whatever sounds nice, and whatever sounds nice might be what's good for you.
Yeah. You spoke earlier about people peaking in high school. It's weird that you brought that up. I was going to say something then, but I was like, I'll just wait. I'll hold off for it. I've seen people who peaked in high school. Just because you peak in high school doesn't mean that these people don't go to college.
Right.
But you can definitely tell, like, when people peak in high school, they go off to college, they go off into their real life and stuff. And social media has a way of exaggerating that. Even if they only want to show you certain things, it's a way of exaggerating that. I've noticed with a couple of folks that I went to school with, some of them were voted like beautiful couple, best couple, most beautiful. You know, they got all the superlatives. Yeah. One of those people, not to say any names or anything, but they were this, and that in high school, and then in college it kind of went a little bit further. But now, like, looking back at their life overall, I'm starting to see where, like, they couldn't adjust to
the
not
reality.
being the go-to person. Wow. And so, like, and another thing about small cities too that kind of hurts us on this is that if you're popular in a small city, like if you're a small city celebrity, you stay a small city celebrity.
That's it.
Because that ego feeds into you. You think that what you were in high school, you still are to this day. Yet you don't gain 200-300 pounds. You big as a whale.
You look completely different. Yeah.
And like you won't see it right now because you're only like 1-2 years out of high school. But wait till it gets time to hit like that 6-year mark, 7-year mark. Yeah. You're gonna start to see it, and
I believe it.
It's weird.
4.5 years almost.
Yeah, you're at the age where you're gonna start to see it. Yeah.
It's just hard seeing people not being able to cope to like making that switch to being a productive member of society now. If you're just gonna stay, I was I don't know, like a queen or something. Nothing against them, but saying like you're homecoming queen now in high school, but I see you're not doing anything with your life now. What were your goals then to make you not, be successful? So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Nah. I was just telling him I got another 10 more minutes. I'm gonna go on to the next question. For me, I probably pretty much already answered it, but I'm gonna ask for y'all too. What was your defining moment for your freshman year?
Oh my gosh, defining moment. Okay, I have like 3. Like, you mean like the most, or just like any?
You can do all 3 of them.
Okay. Well, one of them was when I won the Freshman President's Award, because when I say I struggled through my second semester of freshman year, I struggled. I got a real prayer life. I just got really serious about my grades, because I realized if I want to run for anything else, or if I want to be a part of anything else, the grades are first. And when you want internships or jobs or anything, that's what they look to first. So I felt like if I wanted to set myself up for success later, I need to focus, and I don't need to be, out all the time. I don't need to get food all the time, or just even small stuff. It can still be good stuff, but still be a distraction. So I had to focus on that. So I got the President's Award from Mr. Hugini, and I felt happy about that. What else? When I won Miss Sophomore, that was definitely a challenge. I didn't know I was going to do it at first. I had planned on just waiting until my senior year. I was going to run for Miss A&M and hope people liked me then. I hope I had a big fan base by senior year. I love people would vote for me.
Before you continue, you definitely want to get you a big fan base by senior year running for Miss A&M, because if not,
that's really essentially what it is.
It's a popularity contest. I've seen some of the queens come in and actually, do some stuff, but for the most part, it is a popularity contest,
which
and
stinks,
you want to build your brand before you get to there.
Right, which is another reason why I was like, God, this is not what I planned at all. I wasn't even going to run completely at all. But then he said, you need to get out there, and I need to stop being comfortable in my comfort zone, because I was just going to be like, well, I'll just do a small queen. I'll do something that's not as much work that I know I can guarantee win, instead of going for a challenge that I may not win, because I really do hate losing. But it's okay. I don't think anyone likes to lose. But that was a good moment for me, because it taught me that I need, there's life beyond my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I need to be okay with being out there and putting myself out there, even if that means I lost. And I was like, my name's out here. If I lose, everyone's going to be like, oh, you're the girl that lost. And I don't want no one to rub it in your face. That was a good moment for me. And also it was a good moment for me to see my class come together and do our community service project, Serving the City as One. That was a big moment for me, because I've never seen so many students. I mean, for some people it's mandatory, but I never saw that many people. I never saw that many people actively care about someone's life. Either they wanted to be there, it was kind of early and it was cold, but if they wanted to be there, they didn't be there. Their attitude shifted when they saw the effect that they were having on people. When we went to go build a ramp, it was attached to someone else's trailer home that was local, and the lady came outside crying because she said that her husband, she would have to lift his thing up all the time, his wheelchair up off the ground to get inside the house. And we helped build a ramp. We helped pass out food at Salvation Army and some other places. And it was great to see people who had put themselves aside, what they wanted aside, just to do that. Because I know it was a big event going on that day somewhere else. And people had made the sacrifice to be there. A lot of upperclassmen were there too. And they weren't required to be there.
That was spring week, wasn't it?
Somewhere around that time,
okay. I remember that because I had been at the news station for about a year. And I remember the president, which is also a communication student, Tyra Crawford. She came up there and she did an interview. Her and another person did an interview Saturday morning to talk about the Saturday before. They talk about it. And I feel like we didn't do a good enough job of actually covering that event as a news station. But I mean, it wasn't even politics on that one. It was more so, it was some stuff behind the scenes that we were understaffed. I hate to put our business out there, but we were just understaffed.
But yeah, that was a good moment for me, because I did not think that many people cared enough to do something like that. Because you see community service all the time. People do it just to get their hours, just to put it on, resumes or whatever. But a lot of people who volunteered to do that and signed up to do that and actually followed through with that, that was great to see, because it gave A&M a good look, and it needs to have a positive look on the community if you want to leave an impact. So yeah, those are my 3.
Defining moment for me was the summer of freshman year, going back to talking about the videos, when I started seeing the responses I was getting from those videos. Because at first, like I said, coming down here, I was just not really out there, but just watching and kind of just letting the conversation come from camera stuff or whatever. It was a realization that I had something to say and people needed, to actually see somebody or be, the voice. Because really, we talked about earlier, seeing that there's a lot of people watching everybody, and not too many people doing, I was like, okay, well, I just went through this whole year. Why not talk about it? I had a YouTube channel, was doing the vlogs and getting responses from them. So when I made the videos and I seen the first one going up, I was like, okay, 1,000, cool. And it's like, okay, 3,000, okay. 7,500. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like trying to figure out where and why all these people are watching me, and I'm getting all these responses and things like that. So I'm like, okay. It was then that I realized, okay, if you have something to say, regardless of what you feel about yourself, because a lot of times you have a negative voice in your head that says, don't say that, you sound stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if I know many times maybe before you get in front of a mic and talk about a topic, you're like, shouldn't really say that because I don't really know too much, or you know what I'm saying, or if I say something wrong, I'm gonna get vilified for it, so I'm not gonna say anything at all. That was the moment where I realized, okay, regardless of what I have to say, whether it be about the university, good or bad, or just about my experience, it's relatable, so somebody will watch it, understand it, share it, and grow like that. So I will say that I found my voice at the end of freshman year, and that helped me to now. And now I'm doing a podcast. And yeah,
the smoothest podcast
the smoothest podcast. I didn't want to do it, but it's the smoothest podcast you'll ever listen to. But yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that when you first came in, you gave a voice to a lot of people. I know when I was a freshman, if there was somebody even like that, I'm sorry, I can't even speak right now. Who would say something like, hey, this is what I went through my freshman year. This is what it was like going on the Hill. Had a blog like that. I would check it out because, I mean, my family all went to HBCUs. It was either go to Tennessee State, Alabama A&M. My sister went to Miles. She was the black sheep when it comes to that. But it was either one of those two. So I had like an experience, like I had a small experience of what to expect going to HBCU, but it's different when you come from a high school where it's for the most part segregated. Like you got the smart people, which is mostly white and a few blacks, and then you got the black people. I didn't even know until I got to college that like a lot of black people don't go to college because all I knew was HBCU. And so when I got here, it was still like it was cool to see black people like me who were smart like me going to college. Not saying that people who don't go aren't smart.
We know what you mean.
But yeah, it was cool to see that. But I didn't have a voice. I didn't know what to expect coming on the Hill.
I appreciate y'all too, though. It was you, Eric Slaughter, John. Shout out to Gibson. Julius. Speaking of that, he was the first person to bring me into the lab.
He was?
Yeah. We was on the quad filming some type of event. People were doing their strolls and things like that. And he came, you know how he be moving quick. Hey, who you shooting with? I'm like, just myself. He was like, let me see some of that footage. Let me show you the lab. And then we went in there, and the lab was completely different than it was right now. Miss the lab.
We're working on it.
But then I started coming around more. My major was sport management at the beginning. I ended up switching to communications because of y'all, really, and all the knowledge and the conversations we would have in the lab, and just it was a coming of age in a sense. Like, okay, also finding my voice, because in the lab, if you didn't raise your voice to talk,
you ain't getting heard.
If you did not yell to get into the conversation, you weren't in the conversation. And if you didn't have anything quality to say, you were never let into the conversation again. Like, it was like, what? You said what? Like, okay, just step out. Okay, back to what we were really talking about. But yeah, I appreciate you all for showing the ropes and showing us that we were worthy of coming in and talking and accepting us. I was a sport management major. I didn't, wasn't really around a lot, but appreciate y'all.
You're welcome, man. I think that was just the atmosphere that Thompson brought in. Anybody who knew Mr. Thompson know that that's the type of person he was. Like, he'd be in the hallway, and you would just be walking by, and he'd have a conversation with you.
Yep.
Like, just a random conversation.
Yep.
And the lab is actually how I got inspired to do this podcast. Because you could walk in the lab at any given moment, and it'd be a random conversation going on.
Weren't you trying to do it in the lab, like something from Studio 120? Wasn't it like a
Late Nights in Room 120?
Wasn't that was that the beginning of right before Random Talk?
I wanted to do mostly film on that, but the reason why I put it on hold right now is because I'm still learning film myself. Right. So I didn't want to get up here and tell these people, hey, this is how you do this, and it's 100% wrong. So, I didn't want to leave people wrong. But I guess another defining moment for me since we, everybody got in the final moment, I mentioned the Obama situation,
Right.
when he
That's
finally won.
crazy.
That was pretty cool. It's funny too because our teachers was like, had Obama lost, we were not gonna have class the next day. but I think another defining moment was the end of freshman year when I was moving off campus, going back home for the summer. I had just looked back, like just moving all of my stuff out. I looked back to see like all the things that I had done over the year, and it was crazy because I met Rock City. Rock City was big then. I mean, they're really an island group, but I met Rock City. I technically met 2 Chainz when he was with Player Circle. I was on TV.
Okay.
I was on when they did the BET Black College tour. That was when I first learned how to be a production assistant,
Where did that
and
go?
I sucked at it.
Why,
But
why is that not hot no more? Like,
They rarely do it now. They pick like 5 HBCUs.
I think because it was more so like a commercial. Like they were not bringing a whole lot of stuff, and then BET had been hitting a decline of what they were trying to go for. Like now you see more original shows and content. This was like back when 106 and Park was still on the air. I think it was AJ Ain't Free had been gone by then. It was Roxy and
that other guy. What's it?
Terrence J. Yeah. And so it was cool to be on TV. And actually that girl, the girl who hosted it for us went back then, she's an actress now. She's doing commercials and stuff. She's trying to get into big stuff. But it was just cool to see all the stuff that I'd done, to being able to travel, to be in Mississippi, even though it's not a city that I would ever go to. It was just cool to travel, and I just realized that there was more for me in store. Even though I ended up leaving A&M. But
you're back.
Yeah.
Still gotta hold it.
You're back.
So with that being said, closing remarks, any extra thing you want to add? You know how the church gets ready to end. It's still taking another 30 minutes, but
yes, testimony. I don't know. I've enjoyed this. This was fun for me. I've never done a podcast before. I don't know, he said, but I haven't. But I like it. This is fun, like a little open talking environment. Hopefully, I get to do it again. So yeah,
I'll definitely be back for more episodes. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to shoot in here, but I will be back.
Sounds like a plan.
Gracias for having me on again. I shall be back. Hopefully we get to do our co-hosting gigs together. This is a little different, a little longer format, so I get to express a little bit more. A lot of times I'm just stuck to the
15-minute guideline, 30 minutes.
Like little interviews and things like that. But this is actually good because I like to talk, and I don't feel restricted, like I'm having somebody waiting on me to ask them a question. You know what I'm saying? So this is great. I like it.
Thank you, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, if you have any comments, this time you can put them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Put them in the comment section on YouTube. You can put them on the comment section. Oh, I need a little sound box. But put them on the comment section on YouTube, SoundCloud. Don't forget to subscribe. Review us on iTunes. We're also on Stitcher now, and we have some more things coming in the works. Talk about it a little bit later. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.